Countering the property doomers. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at an email sent to me by a viewer, John, a fan from the show. Now, he wants to put an argument forward, and he's made a few good points, a counterpoint of view to property doomers, or people who are worried that property is going to crash. We're seeing it more and more in the media. We just looked at today where their predictions of Melbourne property falling 15%. So I thought, I asked John if I could go through his points on a video, because I thought he would enjoy, hearing other people's comments, and it'd be good for us to look at an alternative perspective or another view, a counter narrative perhaps. So let's have a look. So, hi Florian, just wanted to send you a message. I enjoy watching your content, usually watching every morning with my coffee while I check my overnight emails. No sugar, no milk until lunchtime, then I add the cream. Good work, mate. Good. Try one, the butter coffee, or a bullet coffee. That's what it's called. Where you add no milk or cream at all. You just add a big scoop of butter in there, and then maybe some MCT oil to really up it. And that essentially is a meal. That's how Rachel got me started on the whole keto path. So just to be transparent, I'm in northern beaches, Sydney, and have recently bought a family home in the area for the long term. I positioned myself with 6 months of mortgage repayments. So there you go. So he's what the RBA are saying and the banks are saying, that people are well positioned. And there's a question for you in the comments. How far ahead are you on your mortgage? 6 months isn't too bad. How many people are years ahead? Particularly if you're hitting it, you're trying to destroy that debt. So he has a plan B and a plan C if he loses his job. So he's well prepared. Now, John, I'd say, mate, you're not the typical person. How many people are we seeing that are living now hand to mouth, that are that lost their job and had no reserves? We were looking at those articles of professionals who were completely dependent on the government good graces of the banks to allow them to stay in their homes by giving them mortgage-free periods. So there's the question. But maybe not. Maybe ABC are just focusing on all the ill-prepared people because it drives their agenda, or at least they think it will. So he's not concerned in the short term, in the 2 years. So he's not worried. In my area, property has dropped about 5%, but up to 10% year on year. And I was able to negotiate with no auction to jack the prices. So the pandemic is good for him. There are a lot of videos channels that are very popular, such as yours, DFA, and a few smaller ones, that always hammer on about property prices falling. 10%, then 30, then 40, then back to 10. I understand DFA has scenarios that outline the probabilities, which is good to see. He's right. It's because people are very interested. People are obsessed about property here in Australia. They're obsessed about it. I noticed that I discussed it in a video, and it gets views, and people are worried and want to see. And so do I. When I watch these videos, Property Doomsday, maybe I should title one that, Property Doomsday, I always like to read comments, as I'm sure you do also. What I find interesting is that people watching these videos act like junkies. They're always wanting their next hit or video that talks property doomsday so they can reassert their hopes of getting in at a lower price, and the comments just roll out to fuel this hopium. So he's arguing that it could be a case of hopium. Perhaps it could be. This is the thing. If It's like I'm seeing it in other sectors as well, like the crypto people who are shilling one particular thing. Oh, you got to get in EOS, you got to get in this, you got to get in that. It's always going good. Or the crypto traders that because what is it? Barrick Gold. Who bought? I should know that. The famous guy, Walter Buffett, bought Barrick Gold, and they're saying now he's going to go into crypto. Did I get him right? We'll see. I'll remember it after the video. And they're claiming that means he'll also get into crypto as well. Holding on to anything they can. So, I enjoyed to read this as part of the entertainment value. Most of it's for a good laugh. Just some points, if I may. Apologies for the lengths, but I want to express another side of the views. And I don't mind. I think it's good that we have a few more views. And he's happy for me to put this out here. If so many people are negative about the property market falling, one could take a contrarian view, as the masses are almost always wrong, and the smart money usually wins. The majority of everyday people are wanting a major collapse to buy in, but I don't think this is really well understood on the big picture of things. Now, do you think the majority of people actually want it, or the more vocal people want it? The more vocal people want it, or the people who are consuming this media want it? So here's the question for you, John. Could it be that because you're consuming a lot of this media, you're watching these channels, and they're focusing on the negative potential fall of property, that's why you could be getting the opinion that most people want to fall? Or is it really out there that most people want to fall? Are there any survey data to confirm that? I'm just thinking the people I know. How many people, well, no one I know that actually has property would want it to fall. I was talking to the neighbor up the street yesterday. She doesn't want it to fall. She wants it to keep going up. I would be happy for it to keep going up, because then I'm a genius and I'm making a whole lot of money off buying a dump. I understand the long-term implications for that would be terrible for our economy. I think that'd inflate away our purchasing power, to be honest. But still, that's the question. We need to confirm that that's true. That could be just the bubble that we're all in. Anyway, so point 1. If property does, over the next 2 to 3 years, go down 30% on average, then those people waiting on the side may not be able to get finance or may not have a secure job. This will be the majority. So no one will be buying. Only big fish will be able to buy, or corporates, or the banks. So I'm not sure. Well, it depends. Don't the majority have housing or in a house? So what is it? What do we have? 70% property ownership here in Australia? I know it's gone down. I know it's going down. There may be opportunities if it falls 30%. How many people will still have secure employment, secure work, still have high LVRs? Maybe they could buy other property cheap. There could be opportunities. But maybe you're just focusing on the people that are hoping for a big hit to the market to jump in, because that's their only chance to get in. 2, if property does crash this bad, then the banks would be in serious trouble. They would be bail in, bail out. Again, with people's deposits may lose value. The banks won't be lending to reduce their risk. Now, to counter that point, we need to look at the RBA's analysis of 40% property falls. And they're saying that's if there's a 40% hit, only about 2% of mortgages will be at risk. And you'd have to question if they've accurately modeled the wider implications of that on the economy. And I'll go through that. I'll probably do a live stream going through that tonight, I think. That's probably the best, because it's a long paper. And we'll have a look at that. 3, if property does crash, almost everyone with a mortgage, mums and dads working day in, day out, would all be screwed for trying to do the right thing and get ahead. The economy would suffer to the point everyone, even renters, would be screwed. The government would have to intervene with bailouts. So John's saying, if it crashed that hard, there would be the political will to prop everyone up. And what would that be? Probably money printing. It would deflate our value, so it would kind of negate it all. Can you see that happening, guys? What do you think? I don't think everyone with a mortgage will be hit. If you're saving for a deposit, saving now for a deposit, the amount of inflation going on, the buying power of your money is reduced. So imagine buying a Coke costing $5 or milk $10. This will inflate property also. We are seeing this for meat and vegetables. 5, if people have large amounts of cash in the bank, they're getting almost no interest. They're probably either going to put it in shares, property, or gold. More than likely, these people are older and property is all they know. That's a fair point. I can agree to that one. Most people will go to property before they go in shares and golds, particularly the older Aussies. 6, very low interest rates now. Money is cheap, and more than likely banks will start to give money away if things get worse. This will just fuel assets. Well, he's right there. I had another viewer who sent me a advertisement for ANZ Bank. Unsecured loans for businesses, 4.5%. That used to be mortgage rates, guys. Unsecured. 7. In the last 10 years, experts are saying there's going to be a crash in property. Every year there is a different reason. DFA have been hammering on for this for years now. Yes, but that doesn't mean they can't be right next year. 8. People have to live somewhere. Gold, cryptos, and stocks don't put a roof over a family's head and keep them safe. Yes, but we also have a huge supply of apartments and building stock, which has been propped up for short-term accommodation for international students, and there's a whole lot of apartments still getting finished that are still sitting there. 9. If people have to sell for financial reasons, or banks are forcing them to sell, then more than likely the agent selling is trying for top dollar to get a commission. The owner selling, though, if they can afford to live in their own home, how will they afford rent? Oh, rent's a lot cheaper. They're better to stay and bunker down. Mortgage repayments could be the same as rent. So he's saying, well, this is the thing. I don't think we'll start to see the big hits in property come from owner-occupiers. It's not going to be people kicked out of the house. Sure, there will be some, but the majority of it will be investors who are forced to sell. Like the teacher we saw who had 5 properties where he's paying interest only and negative gearing them. You know that genius? So I don't know if that is going to make the difference. It'll be the people who have these assets that are not making any money. 10. The banks will want to avoid forced sales and flood the market. It will expose them too much. You're right there, and I think the banks will do everything they can to do it. Listings are low. People are bunkering down, not selling. Yeah, I agree. But this is, we're thinking long term. That's not going to affect 2 to 3 years. Wait till all the support mechanisms are removed. 12. People who have had their homes for a long time will not sell if they don't have to. If they do, they will want top price, or they won't accept an offer. I've seen a property I wanted, and the owner would not budge his price. He wanted 1.3. Offers came in at 1.25, and I was somewhere in between. He would accept this in March, April. It sold for his 1.3 in July. Just shows how low listings will force buyer's hand. My wife and I thought he was a dreamer to be asking this much. Obviously, we know nothing. Yeah, but it's just the beginnings of it, mate. We need to wait and see 6 months. We need to wait 6 months and see. 13. People wanting to buy who have been waiting on the sidelines for years, due to all these experts advising property crash, have watched a high gains over 5 to 10 years. If there is a crash, will the drops outweigh the wait time and the price revert back to 5 years or even 0? I don't think anyone can answer this. I know someone who sold in 2014-15 thinking that was the top. He has not been able to get back in to upgrade. We'll have to see. It could. There's predictions it could head back to 2014-15 prices. And I mean, that's the thing. There's costs of holding a property too that you've got to take account. You know, you've got to pay rates, you've got to pay costs, you've got other expenses that you have to deal with. We're just sitting and renting. You know, there's opportunity costs. It could be cheaper. You could make better money. 14. Sure, property has gone down. In my area, 5% houses. Apartment high-rises, I agree. There will be big falls, and some areas will be more impacted than others. But to wait for 30% could take 2 or 3 years. Why doesn't everyone just sell now? Move the family with almost retired mum and dad and buy back later for the massive upgraded house? Because it's hard to transact in property, and most people don't want the hassle of moving or to take such a gamble. Like I mentioned earlier, property was supposed to crash in the last 10 years. Yes, but I mean, there's 2 sides to it. People, owner-occupiers, aren't going to go through the pain in the arse, and you're right. And we're going to see this manifest in apartments first, and then investor stock, investor property. And we'll start to see that happen when the support mechanisms are removed. I did a video earlier today where just the number of listings for rentals has gone up 100% in some parts of Melbourne. You know, government intervention. They want the stamp duty. Big chunks of cash, not drip-fed by land taxes that are too hard to manage and enforce. Stamp duty is paid on settlement. It's easier to enforce. If you can't pay on settlement, then you need to get permission or exception by filling out a form. Maybe there will be reforms in the percentage breaks, but bottom line is government want property to stay inflated, won't pump it up. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I agree with you 100% there. Politicians have no incentive to allow property to drop. They need to do everything they can to keep it going. Everything they can. The 16, the GFC is an example, although a minor one compared to now. They just printed and reinflated the bubble. Why is this so different? Why are we seeing money printing as never before in the history of money printing? Well, because people can't work or can't spend their money printing anywhere. Maybe you're right. Maybe it'll just go into housing. 17, I get the underemployment is very high and impacts prices, yields of rent. But I go to my point earlier, people have to live somewhere if no one pays the rent. Yes, some investors may sell, but at the moment I thought people can't be evicted. The government will intervene at some point to help out the renter. No, we're already seeing in like significant increases in property listings. Significant increases. You just have to wait. UBI. This is essentially job keeper, job seeker. Maybe this just keeps getting extended. Either way, people are so used to it, it may be the new norm. People will rely on it and maybe an election promise to keep the free money going until things get better, or maybe rebrand it to a more permanent name. My point is that this helps people pay the rent and bills. Next time, maybe rent keeper to help renters stay and landlords afloat. Again, people need to leave somewhere. It's almost a human right in Australia. I could go on, but I think you get my points. No one really talks about these points. Yes, I understand that property never always goes up. And when there's a debt bubble, a property bubble, it happened in Ireland, Japan, and Perth. Who really wants to live in Perth or Ireland? Ah, you bastard, John. I'm sure the Irish do. And well, actually, a lot of people do. And Perth is kind of nice, isn't it? But, I mean, here's the thing, his final parting comment. What do you reckon, guys? Do you think this will all evolve into UBI? The government... It's going to be a socialist shithole then, isn't it? Then it doesn't matter what your property's worth when we're all in the bread queues. It would also be good if you could do a video on the counter side of the property proposed crash to get a balanced view. Also, just to rub the doers in it so I can read the comments about how wrong you are. Okay, see, there you go, John. I'm sure you'll see a lot of comments in here. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, mate. Though these news articles only focus on the negative doomsday events to get views, like the junkie analogy, readers want to reassert their beliefs and watch and read and comment on everything they see. Anyways, thanks for taking the time to read, sharing my thoughts and views that more are not looking at. No problem, John, and thank you very much for taking the time to send and put your points out here and letting me read it out as a video. You know, this is your video that you've contributed to. And what do you all think, guys? What do you reckon? Let us know in the comments. Do you think he's on the money? Do you think property won't be hit? Do you think the government will step in and chuck everything they can? I'm just waiting for interest-only loans where the government pays your mortgage directly for you. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you next time.